I think that brings us to our sort of second last big bucket, Tim, and that's that, these networks aren't just lines connecting faces to faces. They are relationships. And so when you are reaching out, how does it feel to receive that note should inform sort of how you craft that message. You can use a message, again and again, copy and paste it, but that doesn't mean it needs to sound robotic or be very, form lettery. You can allow your own voice to come through that, or, a specific energy, level of energy or message come through in a way that's friendly, that's, relational at heart. And that can carry through, the offering of leads or thinking about, whether there are internal candidates that you can have conversations with about this, and, how those messages or conversations sort of start. And so there may be people on your hiring committee or people on your leadership team or people in the organization generally who may kind of have a closer tie to the people that are on your list. And so when you're looking at, who you're talking to, try to also see, who might this message best come from? And then, ask those folks for help. This is another one of those sort of traps, though, because this is where people say, well, aren't you just posting and filtering and then reaching out? Like, how does this take this long? And so it is one of those points to navigate for sure around the sort of soft resources we talked about required to do this work.
And this is too that I think toggling between broadcast versus conversational.
Yeah.
Posting a job on a job board is broadcasting. You're getting that out to a lot of people. Messaging friends and colleagues should not feel like broadcasting. And I think especially now and given the times in which we're living and connections to people, it should come from a genuine place. And that's probably one of the things where I don't have the time to make relational connections with 100 people. Maybe I only can do it with 30. And that's where I only can do 30 to give it that genuine, make those genuine connections. And so as you're thinking about ways you can do this, maybe it would be great if you could do 200, but it's just not going to be possible to do that in a genuine, caring way. Mm-hmm. And so I think, again, we live in a often resource constrained world and organizations. And so not everything's possible, but how can we test these ideas, I think, is a way to start. How can we experiment with this thing? And maybe making those relational connections lead to the best sourcing that you could do, and mm-hmm. to other opportunities and other ways to reimagine the role or whatever it might be. So I guess that's just another plug for thinking about these as iterating and experimenting as you go through the process.